Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. Before I jump into this video, I would implore you to smash the like button or the dislike button if you don't like the content, but make sure that you are engaging because Jason and I are always dropping boxing related content, whether it's our take, boxing breakdowns, or documentaries. We do it all here. So make sure that you are engaging. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you smash the subscribe button and turn that little notification button on. Now, this is a topic that I delved into a little bit in the Friday live that we had here recently, this past Friday. And I'll probably speak on it a little bit in our live stream today. We do a live stream 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. Perhaps today it may be a smidge early, maybe around 3 or 3:30. But make sure that you are checking us out today for our live stream. I talked about Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and some things that are going on there that don't really make any sense. Now, word around the campfire is this. Canelo Alvarez and Turki Alalshikh already have a backup plan in place in case Terence Crawford pulls out of the fight. Now, this gentleman's name is Lester Martinez, and you have to ask yourself, or at least I have to ask myself, and certainly I have to ask you, why on earth would they have a backup plan in regards to Terence Crawford? This fight is supposed to be one of the biggest fights we've seen in the last 5 years. This is the biggest fight that you could see in the sport today. Why would there be a backup plan for Terence Crawford, but not a backup plan for Canelo Alvarez? I don't understand. What is it that Turki Alalshikh and Canelo Alvarez know about this particular fight that we don't? Well, there are a number of things that I'm going to discuss here that could potentially be drivers for Terence Crawford pulling out of the fight. Number one, we talked about this here recently in one of our videos. Word on the street is that Canelo Alvarez will not be going through VADA testing. Now, we know recently Jaime Munguia popped dirty. We know many people out of that Eddie Reynoso camp has popped dirty. And maybe, just maybe, Terence Crawford has agreed to fight Canelo Alvarez, but maybe he's having some reservations as it relates to this. Because if I were Terence Crawford, there's no way on earth, no matter what skill level I have, and I know many of you Terence Crawford fans believe he's Superman, that he can leap a building in a single bound, that he can outrun a locomotive. I get it. But even though he can do all those things, in my opinion, he should not go into a fight with Canelo Alvarez, who is also popped dirty, without VADA testing. Maybe that is the reason why Terence Crawford is having some reservations as it relates to this particular fight. Now, here's something else. Recently, Terence Crawford was on, I can't remember the name of the outlet right now, but he did a pretty extensive video and he talked about the Canelo Alvarez fight. And many Bud buddies grabbed onto this statement and said, oh, it's about legacy. Terence Crawford went in there and said that he's only getting $10 million for the fight. Now, personally, I don't believe that whatsoever. That doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense that he would have gotten $10 million for a David Avanesian fight. He would have gotten in excess of $20 million for a Errol Spence fight. And now all of a sudden he's going to take less to face Canelo Alvarez for his greatness. Stop it. He's getting more money than that. However, he may not be getting the money that he's expecting, the money that he believes he should get. And if he feels that he's not getting the money that he should get, maybe there's still an option, a window for him to pull out of this particular fight. Because I cannot process Terence Crawford having the option or wanting to pull out of a fight versus Canelo Alvarez, where clearly he's going to make the most money that he will ever make in his career. So is it possible? Maybe, I know he's not just getting $10 million, but maybe he is alluding to in that video that he's not necessarily getting the money that he desires and wants. And maybe Turki Alalshikh and Canelo Alvarez are aware of that. You know, Canelo, oh man, he takes you to the cleaners. He takes almost everything as it relates to an event. So if that is the case, maybe they're aware of that. And that's the reason why they may want him to pull, or maybe he might pull out of this fight. Here's a third one, though. Maybe they know that Terence Crawford is not necessarily ready for this fight. Maybe there has been indications through conversations with Turki Alalshikh, through the negotiation. Maybe they realize that Terence Crawford's heart's really not into this fight. Maybe he knows what's in store for him. Maybe he truly has reservations about his skill set and how he's going to perform in a fight against Canelo Alvarez. I've seen a number of trainers out there talking about he's going to go up there and knock Canelo out. Maybe Terence Crawford doesn't feel that way. Maybe they know it. And maybe there's some real concerns from that side of the camp that, maybe Canelo Alvarez is not the fight that Terence Crawford should be taking at this moment. Now, for me personally, I find that one a little bit hard to believe, because why campaign for it for so long? You've been campaigning for the opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez for so long, and now that it's here, you're talking about pulling out, and it would be you would be pulling out for a disbelief in your skill set and how it might translate to 168 pounds. Usually you have thought about things like this, specifically an individual like Terence Crawford, who I believe is one of the more calculated fighters in the sport. By calculated, I mean he takes on his opponents at the opportune time and he takes on the correct opponents. I'm not knocking the guy. I'm just saying I think he's an opportunist in terms of his strategy around when he faces fighters. So I just personally believe that Terence Crawford probably is not going down that path, and it's probably one of the other explanations, or, and this is the fourth one, there was some indication that Terence Crawford had some type of injury coming out of his last fight or something like that. I remember earlier in the year, and that he wouldn't even be ready for a fight in May versus Canelo Alvarez. And so maybe there's some lingering issues going on with some type of injury that Terence Crawford has, and maybe he won't be able to, maybe there's still doubt that he'll be able to make a September fight. I don't know, but it's just very interesting that they already have a backup for Terence Crawford. There's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and I believe that there's potential that this fight might not take place. I've already told you guys that I personally believe this fight's going to be a dud. I think you got two fighters in there that are motivated by money and money only. I don't think Terence Crawford is motivated by becoming three-time undisputed. I don't think he cares. I think he cares about that payday. I think Canelo Alvarez is only in it for a payday. I think he has no interest in necessarily fighting Terence Crawford because he gets no respect or credit for beating him. But he does get a massive payday for fighting a guy that's essentially 3 weight classes below him. So personally, I think the fight's going to be a dud, but I think something's going on behind the scene that could potentially end this fight. We'll see what ends up happening. You guys tell me what you think in the comment section in regards to this. Why does Canelo Alvarez and Turki Alalshikh already have a backup for Terence Crawford? It's an interesting question. I want you to answer it for us. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and I am out.